Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today we are doing the recap of season number 2 of Mini Mondays. This was a great cast of cars and trucks for this season. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to pick a favorite out of the bunch. It was so much fun doing the second season on this. If you guys are not aware of Mini Mondays, this is season number 2. We did a first season, I think it was a total of 7 or 8 episodes of me just running the minis in my collection. Season number 2, 6 episodes, including the recap, makes it 7. Completely different set of RCs for season 2. And we're gonna do, and just a spoiler alert, season 3, already started filming it. Probably gonna release it within the new year, so look for that for 2024. We're gonna keep this going. I think I'm gonna probably wrap this whole Mini Monday series up after season 4. I have something special for season 4, and we have 6 separate episodes. One on the ZD Racing EX16, one on the MJX Hyper Go. Over there we have the mini Traxxas ERevo, the team associated Reflex 14MT, the Arrma Granite Grom, and then the Bezgar sitting over here on the rear. These all vary in sizes. I believe the smallest is going to be the 1/18 scale, and the largest is probably going to be the ERevo and the MJX. Prices, so that you guys are aware, because everyone wants to know what the prices range is going to be. At the time of this video, this is probably going to be the least expensive. I believe this is coming in somewhere about $112 on Amazon as of today. And the most expensive, even though that one's hopped up to the 9s, is probably gonna be the Traxxas ERevo. Depending on which flavor you go with, it can range from $199.95 for the brushed edition, which probably comes more in line with all of this. And then the brushless is going to be $299.95. I'll talk more about my Traxxas ERevo when we get to it, but that's what the range is going to be. It's going to be going from as low as the Bezgar and as high as the Traxxas. But let's go into my experiences with each one. Let's start off with the EX16. For you guys that are not familiar with the EX16, you guys can kind of see what it's supposed to look like. I believe ZD Racing did a phenomenal job with this. Now this comes in multiple different flavors. There's about 3 different variations of this car. And the one that you're seeing in front of you today is the most expensive out of the bunch. This can be purchased free shipping plus tax. It's $151 on AliExpress. That's where I had purchased it a while. I don't even think I paid that much for it back then, but that's what it's going for now. This is brushless. It's 2S ready. Comes with a anodized aluminum chassis. This also came with a battery pack, and it comes with a Dumbo RC controller. There's LED lights on it, and it comes with metal wheels and foam inserted tires, even though they feel more like a drift tire. This thing is so fast, guys. The only thing I will say is that I wish the servo was a little bit faster for this, but it's so fast. And for an on-road car, it performs so well. You would be surprised. You know, people would see a 1/16 scale and think that you could zip this around your house. I wouldn't advise it. It's too fast for inside your house, unless you live in, you know, this Richie Rich size mansion. But this is a great RC. It's definitely something I would say if you are into the Ken Block, hoonigan type cars, it's worth getting, and definitely one of the gems in my collection. Now for the Hyper Go. This is the MJX Hyper Go. For you guys that are not familiar with this I purchased from Amazon. It has also a metal chassis. What is that? This car comes with a set of on-road, off-road, and drift tires. And these are the off-road wheels that I threw on here. For this run, I took the car off-roading wanted to see how it performs. And guys, I'm telling you, this thing is so much fun. This has an LED light kit. There's lights in the front. Up here, you have another set of lights going on back here in the rear, and then the tail lights. This thing is quick, guys. This thing is capable of 2S and 3S. I drove this thing on the softball field, took it off-roading, and that's what I wanted to do with it. I already ran this on-road, and I just wanted to see how it performed. And guys, this thing is so much fun. This is currently going on Amazon, I believe, for like $170. That's how I think I paid even more for it. I believe I paid like either $190 or $180 for it. It comes with two sets of battery packs. This thing, as I said, it runs on 2S and 3S. A blast, a blast. I know that there's a whole bunch of other different flavors of the Hyper Go. I have not tried those out, and the reason why is because this is the one I really wanted. I wanted an on-road one. I didn't want a truggy version of it or anything else, or a buggy version of it. This is what I wanted. I wanted an on-road car, and this thing is worth it. But I would almost say it's almost up there for the top of season 2. It's close, but it's right there. You get a ton with this car, and I would have to say, guys, if you haven't checked out the Hyper Go, or you haven't checked out my video on the Hyper Go, check it out because it's worth it. I won't be going into super detail of all these cars. The reason why is because I have individual videos on all of these cars that you see at the table. If you want to know a more in-depth video of any of these cars, you can go back to those individual videos to see what they're about. And next up, I'm going to go with the Bezgar. And this is the only one out of the table that was sent to me. So this was sent to me from Bezgar for me to try out, and I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed with this. This is 1/16 scale. It comes with batteries. It comes with two 2S packs. This is 2S and 3S capable. I would not even try it on 3S. 2S is more than enough for this. My only one gripe that I had with this buggy is that I wish the controller had a dual rate to it. And that's a simple fix. Just change out the radio system for it. But this thing, this thing is a blast, guys. I took this off-roading. It also has LED lights. The only thing that came loose, and this is probably on me, was the rear wing. The screws came loose on it. This truck comes in two different flavors, the truggy style that you see here, and then there's also like a monster truck type body that also is available for it. I did a full video on this, so if you want to know more about how this truck is and what are the specs for this truck, go back to that video. But running this thing off-road, jumping, it's a blast. It's a tank. There's so much thrown into this. A lot of people are talking about how these RCs are throwaways. This one I don't believe is. I believe this one has so much part support from Bezgar, on Bezgar's site, on Amazon, to support it. I will say it is a little bit of a beast to work around, especially when I was trying to do the wing. It's a lot to get into it, and it does come with Phillips hardware throughout, but you have to navigate around a lot of different parts back there to get to just even the screws to mount the wing to the back. And that's probably why I didn't mount it in there so great. Power on this is insane. The servo probably, I would say, there's just too much oversteer with it. And I wish, as I said, I wish I had the dual rate to tune that out a little bit. Hardware on this thing comes with CVDs front and rear. That's something that you do not see on RCs this size. You have these anodized aluminum shock caps all throughout this. And as I mentioned with pricing, it all varies, because with pricing on this, if you go to Bezgar's site, I believe you can get it as low as $140, and then it goes as high as maybe as $180, and then you can find this on Amazon for about $112. So it's all over the place. My best bet, I say, go to Amazon. If you're gonna get it for $112, go for it. I know Bezgar does provide coupons, and on my site, I also have a coupon code for it, but if you can find it more cheaper than the coupon codes that I have, go for it, guys. But this is a great car. And for the holidays, if you guys are looking for something for the holidays, it's a great find for a kid to throw into their hands and mash this around and finding parts for it. The only thing I will say, it's going to be fun doing the repairs on it. Next up and new to the lineup is going to be the Arrma Granite Grom. This is the newest one out of the bunch, guys. And I gotta say, this one surprised the hell out of me. This comes brushed. It's the first 1/18 scale from Arrma. Typically, I believe everything else from Arrma has been 1/10 and bigger. But this is a real fun treat to drive. I originally, and I'll disclose this really quick, I originally was going to throw a brushless system in this, max it out, have this thing fly around on a brushless system, and after I drove it, I'm happy with it brushed. For a kid, it has the throttle limit on there, so it has the 50, 75, and 100. So if you want to slow it down for a kid, you can. There are hop-up parts already on Horizon's site for this, and you probably can start finding the hop-up parts in your local hobby shops. That's the other kicker to this one. This is only sold at your local hobby shops, I think until the end of this month or somewhere in December. They're going to start pushing these online. But for the first sales of this, they're only available in your local hobby shops. This is also Arrma's first edition of the clipless body system. Let me see if I can take this off for you guys. And that's what it is going on. So you have these pins that lock in on the car, and it fixes with a little bit of a clip in the front. I talk about all of this in the full video of this RC, but just wanted to give you a clear idea of what we're working with. And Arrma provides you with everything. They provide you with the LiPo. They provide you with a charger for this LiPo, just like all the other RCs that you're seeing here on the table, except for probably these two. They all come with LiPos, and they all come with some form of charger for the LiPos, except for I don't think this came with a charger for the LiPo. But the rest of them came with a charger, a USB charger to charge the LiPos on the rest of them. This does have the team associated Reflex 14MT does have a version that comes with the LiPo, and I believe a wall charger too. It's just more. And I don't want to discuss something that I don't currently have. Going back to the Grom, a lot of hop-up parts are available for this. Check your local hobby store. Check the Horizon site if you're looking to hop this thing up. This comes in at about $130 US. And these are the systems that hold in the body. You squeeze these two and the body releases, and then you pull the body forward. As I mentioned, guys, this was a blast. You have a composite chassis, but it's tough. I think if you give this to a kid or even an adult, they're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. This, to me, is the #1 RC for season 2. I truly enjoy this RC, and I gotta say, it was really tight between this and the MJX, but this has got to be my #1, with the MJX coming very close at #2. Next up, we have the team associated Reflex 14MT, and I'm gonna kind of say this is almost like another version of the Reflex 14B and 14T. Those were the buggy and the truggy versions of this. The base of the buggy and this identical. My issue with this is that I wish it was just a little bit bigger, or they called it not a 14, because this comes in more like a 16th scale. This monster truck has a ton of power. This comes brushless out of the table. Let me call that out too. That's the only brushed. So every other RC that you see on the table, they're all brushless. And this is another brushless RC from Team Associated, 2S rated. It is not capable of 3S, 2S rated. These tires are probably the best in the industry. These have foam inserts, and I truly enjoyed these tires on the softball field I was running this RC on. The reason why I don't give this one the #1 spot is because this RC is the only one. Yeah, this RC out of all of them is the only one that broke pretty much within the first 3 minutes of the run. I pulled it and immediately that center differential started clicking. Now it did not stop the run. I was able to run it all the way through. I went back and looked at the spur gear and the pinion, and the pinion's chewed up. I don't know if rocks got in there, but the pinion's a little chewed up and the spur is a little bit worn down, I guess because of that pinion being chewed up in there. I'm going to replace both of those parts on this, and then it's back to being new on the road again. I never had that issue with the Reflex 14B. And gotta say, guys, this has a ton of power. Falls in line with all the other brushless RCs that are out there in regards to power. Performance. This thing was taking a beating. Even with the grinded up pinion that was in there, I was launching this thing and it was taking it one jump after another. I love this truck. It's another one that comes with the LEDs, and that's the other thing. Let me call that out really quickly. The Arrma and the Traxxas are the two that do not have LEDs, if LEDs is your big thing too. So this does come with LEDs. The LEDs kind of kept on falling out on this RC. It has LEDs in the front, but no LEDs in the rear. This is another one that comes with a center differential. Maybe, someone called me out on it, but this may be the only one with a center diff. The rest of them, I don't believe has anything like that. Price point wise, this comes in at $216. The one with the battery comes in about maybe $259, and this is all in US. Has a composite tub chassis on it, similar to what you've seen on the 14B. It's just a different type of plastic that they're using. But everything else on it, this thing holds up, takes the beating. I truly enjoyed it, and this would have made it to the #1 spot had it not broke. It's that good, guys. And I know Team Associated is going to go ahead and address that issue, because I believe I've seen other videos out there where they started driving the car and all of a sudden there was a clicking noise. And it's going to be the same issue that I had, which was that pinion just gets chewed up really quick and then starts chewing up the spur. But yeah, this is definitely one I would say check it out. If you like the 14B, you're going to really like the 14MT. And then lastly, guys, we're going to talk about the big elephant in the room. This is my Traxxas Mini ERevo, and it probably doesn't resemble that at all. This is the only one that I will say out of the whole bunch, it's customized. This car wasn't even bought as an RTR. I purchased this as a slider, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. This is a Proline rat rod body that they came out, I can't even remember how long ago. I went ahead and I painted this up, and I run it with it. Even though this body is no longer available, I still run it with it. I painted this up a while back. I had some mirror paint that was in the front and that just peeled right off. But everything else seems to be holding tight. For a while, I couldn't even get this RC to stay down. It would constantly just do wheelies. I'm running so much on here with the links swapped out. I got some weights in the front to try to keep that front down. I didn't upgrade the shocks. Since it's an on-road car, I didn't see the need for it. So I kept the stock shocks in there. I'm running a high-tech servo, which is the reason why I only have one. I don't need the need for two. I'm running metal gears on this too. So I got a metal spur and pinion on this. I can't remember this. I want to say I'm running like a 30-tooth pinion on here. And you guys can see the system. It's a 10th scale Castle Creation system. And it's that old that it's a Mamba Max Pro. That's how old all of this is in this RC. I used to run my Futaba system in there, but because of the power, I noticed that over the last year, I've swapped over to a TQI system. I think I prefer TSM being on this with the amount of power that this thing puts down. For these tires and wheels, these are Proline, I forgot, I think these are Road Rage. Yeah, these are the Proline Road Rages on here. It does have a staggered effect. Hopefully you guys are able to see that on the camera. Smaller in the front, wider in the rear. And these were made for the ERevo. If you look at the rear, I was driving this with the stock wheelie bar on it. It was not helping at all. So I went ahead and I fabricated something up. I found a wheelie bar for, I think may have been for like a Traxxas Slash or one of those other vehicles. And I mounted that to the bottom of this car. It stays in place. It holds against the rear diff and it locks in there perfectly. There used to be a wheel in the back that broke on the first run. And now I'm running it with this in there. It grinds down a little bit on the rear, but it keeps the nose down, and this is what it needed. For the rear, you can see I'm running the upgraded links on here. I did not swap out the rockers, no need there. This has been one of my most fun builds because it was something that is a straight up purpose-built car. I don't run this off-road. It is strictly for on-road, and mainly I wanted it to be a drag car, to be quite honest. And this is before the drag scene was even big. Traxxas is still making this, as I mentioned before. There's two versions. There's the brush version and there's a brushless version, coming in at $199 and $299 respectively. But if you want to go this route, all you need to do is find a slider and build it yourself. For those of you that are not aware of sliders, it comes with no electronics, does not come with a body, does not come with wheels and tires. A slider just comes with the frame. You'll have the shocks built in there, the arms and everything else will be in there. Your drive shafts will be in there. Your suspension, for the most part, will be all intact. And then you upgrade from there. And I like to buy sliders because for the most part, I like to build the car the way I want it built. The reason why this is not number one, it's a custom car. I don't know how many people are going to be willing to put this much money into a Traxxas ERevo. And for me, it was just something that I saw and I wanted to do. Now, you're probably looking at the motor mount and wondering what this is. Now, as I mentioned, it's about 8 or 9 years ago that I started building this. And this is a tenable motor mount. And for you guys that are for you guys who have been in the hobby for a while, you know that name. I don't believe that individual is around anymore or making these mounts anymore. I know I've tried to look for them to point people in that direction who have asked, and I did not see it. But it is a motor mount that I will say is the main reason why I will never sell this car. Those tenable motor mounts are irreplaceable. But I will say this is a Mini that I truly enjoy. And because it's custom, I wouldn't put it as the favorite of the bunch for this season number 2. We're gonna wrap up season number 2, but I wanna ask you a question. What was your favorite Mini for season 2? For me, it's gonna be that Arrma Granite Grom. For you, it may have been something different out of the 6 cars that you see here on the table. As I mentioned before, I'm pretty much wrapped up with season number 3. Look forward to that one because there's some real gems in season number 3. But stay tuned in 2024 for season number 3, and shortly after that, season number 4. But we're gonna leave it here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok for the latest updates to the channel. This is Ready Set RC signing out. Thanks again, guys.